you know, we'll see if Gary listens and what we do with that.
Gary, my number is. You're gonna love this.
I want to hear it. I'm objective. You're critical.
Anico at the disco.
He's positive. Join the Mixtape 615.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday.
It is the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville.
Never. Hey, yo. Testing. 1 2 3. This is a Mixtape 615 podcast, and this is the place to be if you're a Nashville soccer club fan, or you're just trying to see what's going on with them boys in gold. And I invite you real quick, lock in, baby. I'm your boy. Hold up, lean in with me. Tunji, aka Young Turtle, the Soccer Face, SF Doom, the Big Kahuna, munching on a tuna sandwich. Cuando estoy en la República Dominicana, la gente me llama Steam Papi. Yo, it's Wednesday night, and I'm at Southside Kitchen, the pub, and they keep passing me like half off whiskeys. Woo! I'm too lit, man. AKA Mr. Sipping Mai Tais on this beach in Belize, feeling cool like a summer breeze. AKA the dude walking down Broadway with the cleanest pair of Jordan ones that you ever did see. The golden boy with the golden voice, and a new AKA, dude formerly known as
Chicago Mike,
Killer Mike. Ooh. Now I'm Chicago Mike. I didn't tell y'all about that, but now you know about it. And guess what?
Was that a different life? Was that a different life? Killer Mike?
We found the Scranton Strangler, everybody.
Don't. What you guys need to know is this is a Mixtape 615 podcast, and we've got some amazing information, a great pod for y'all today. But first and foremost, Austin, my co-host, can you tell them who you are?
I can tell them who I am.
Thank you, sir.
What's up, y'all? My name is Austin, a.k.a. Wild Mane, a.k.a. Ginger Snap, a.k.a. the fumbling Dublin who just went to an Irish pub and got happy hour 2 for 1s, you know.
There you go.
So an
average Irish drink, you know.
Yeah.
All right, a.k.a. Chicky Parm, aka Redbeard.
Arg.
All right, Logan, tell them who you are.
Y'all know me. This is Logan, aka Beer Main, aka Mr. Roboto, aka Coach Carson. And what was my new one last week? Y'all remember?
No, I don't know.
Y'all don't remember?
No, I remember. I just don't like it.
SFX Doom.
I don't like it. It's a blatant copyright infringement.
Hey, you know what?
Like blatant, bro.
Not my fault. You could have it.
It is your fault.
You could have it. All you had to do.
No.
You just got to show the love. That's all you got to do. Just show the love.
You know there are people listening to this who can't see your effects.
Who have no idea what it is. And you know
they don't know what you're doing.
All they got to do is listen to it now and then go watch it back on YouTube later, because all you got to do is find us and follow us everywhere, because this is the Mixtape 615 podcast, brought to you by the Mixtape 615 supporter group, the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville. If you are not a part of us, we want you in that mix with us. We want you running this pitch with us this year. Absolutely. Because we're going to have that. We've already got the scars ordered.
What do they know about that? What do they know?
You already know.
What do they know about?
But one of the best things is coming soon, and we will say coming soon. There is going to be a pickup party for all of our Mixtape 615 members coming up to you soon. We want you to come in, get your scarf, get with us, get in the mix. Go to mixtape615.com. That is mixtape615.com. And join the mixtape there. You can get membership with us, with your family. You can get a membership individually. All you got to do is get on there, get your membership. We'll get your scarf. You get your exclusive away day match stuff. We have buses that we've already scheduled. And I found out where we're scheduled to, which is one of the most amazing things ever. So we've got buses scheduled already to Atlanta. You already know that.
What?
We've got another one that it could be to one place, but it could be to another. And then we already have another one saved just in case we want to take another one during the postseason. It's amazing.
What are these buses for?
Oh, these are buses for only official backline members, which you can become if you are a part of the Mixtape 615. So join us there. Now, there is a ton of soccer news. All the ones out there right now, like Mbappe joining, was it Real Madrid? Oh, right.
He's not there yet. He's not there yet.
Right,
but I do have a Real Madrid jersey on.
He is going to be joining. Absolutely. We are excited about that. We also have all of the Miami mess that it has been. Lionel Messi already saying he's tired of it.
Messy in Miami.
Messy for sure. They have not won a single preseason game. It's crazy. To all of the MLS,
that's preseason
goalie jerseys being dropped, which I know you guys have seen. The goalie jerseys are so dope. I love them.
They're all right.
Compared to what they've had in the past, I like these a lot. The green one in particular, I think, should become a Joe. And, you know, he's rocked the green so far. I think that should become Joe's. But I love the black one. I think it's great. Black, red, gold. Love it. But we do want to bring it back home to Nashville SC, just like I was right there, because we have a ton of news for us. Starting off with one of our favorite midfielders going down again.
Did you say favorite?
Favorite?
Did you say favorite?
Again.
Favorite?
One of our favorites to talk about.
When we can talk about him. Randall Leal. Mr. Randall the third. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Glass.
It might as well be. He's injured again, guys. This is a particularly, it's not surprising, which is not good, because we spent a lot of money. And look, that's a very harsh statement. We're talking about a human being who is consistently being not being able to complete a season for Nashville SC in particular. So if you guys don't know, Randall Leal, he's one of our main midfielders. He was the guy. He was the Clyde to Hani's Bonnie. He was the Clyde to Hani's Bonnie. In Bonnie and Clyde.
He scored the very first goal in Geodis.
He scored the very first goal in Geodis. We were there. I saw it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a penalty.
PK, right? Yeah.
It was a PK, and he took it and he cleared it. This guy is always getting hurt, and it's always it seems to be his hamstring. Now, with this particular injury,
too, but this one wasn't Nashville trainers, so I'm not going to get onto them.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly the thing, right? Because he didn't do any preseason games in Nashville. He trained with Nashville. He went out to Costa Rica, where he's from, to play for the national team there. And somewhere in that camp, he got injured in that camp. And the Costa Rican coach said some cryptic stuff. He said that maybe Randall was maybe like neglecting some training, or not like really he wasn't fit, is what he was trying to say. And that's a very tough thing. I mean, we see it all the time with players jumping from playing on the local level, on the club level, to the national level. Honestly, dude, I don't love to say this, but I can't realistically say that his body is built for this sport, because from what I have seen, the guy is able to play maybe the first quarter of the season, right? And then he's out, and then he's just out. I just haven't seen, since we've signed Randall Leal, the payback, or even I just haven't seen him play enough for me to know. Like, we always talk about, like, when he's on, right? We talk about that a lot. Like, oh man, if we had Randall Leal out there, but I'm like, well, even like, I'm telling you, those times are very little compared to the time that he's even when he's on the pitch, which is already very little. So with his limited availability, right? The fact that we just have not gotten the return, again, remember, we are talking about a human being who is, it's got to be devastating for Randall Leal. It's got to be devastating for Randall Leal to not be able to stay healthy. Because I actually have gotten a chance to talk to him on the phone randomly. It was at a tailgate, and someone had his number, and they hit him up before the game, and I could tell he was like a very optimistic, genuine human being, and I love the guy. Like, honestly, I really do want him to be a big part of Nashville SC and our attack, which is what we got him for. But with his limited availability, the fact that he's pretty much coming up on a contract year or is on a contract year, Logan, do you feel like Nashville SC should just move on from Randall or without Randall? Do you think that we should continue this, like going down this path of every year having Randall and then he's barely there to play? What do you think?
So I think that it's been said amongst ourselves. I know it's been said amongst some of our members who might be listening to this. Shout out to Angela Grumpy, the grumpiest person you'll ever meet in the sweetest way possible.
In the best way possible.
One of the greatest people. But she said it before. Tunji, you've said it before. I know we've kind of all said it in different ways, but I think now's our time to get him healthy, get him in a couple games, and then shop him out.
Wow.
If he is not on a contract year already, we need to shop that around, because at this point we're blowing cap space where we could have signed some others. Now we do have some great attacks that we just brought in. We have been talking several times over that we need to shore up our midfield. I think we just did. And if we have a strong midfield this time around, I think we're going to be okay without him. If our midfield's not really clicking, it is going to hurt if we don't have somebody like that who can put a long ball together, who can, run around and just cause havoc like he does when he's on the pitch. The biggest issue is going to be whether he can stay healthy or not. And I think now's the time to kind of call that. We were optimistic over the last 2 years. It's obvious going into this next year that, I think it's time to call it.
Wow. So you're saying move on. He's saying move on.
Said it. He said, we've been optimistic the past 2 years. This is Music City. And you know what Randall Leal is? He's a broken record. We're seeing this over and over again. It's happening time and time again where Randall Leal cannot stay healthy. And as much as I like the guy, I don't know if y'all remember, but opening match at Geodis, I got to hand him the record for man of the match when he scored that penalty kick. So I got to meet the guy. He's a really nice guy, but it's become a problem where it's got to become a business decision because he's not added enough to make it worth the 7-figure salary that he's got.
And that's the thing, right? It's just like the amount, and that's what people. I think that's one of the things that we understand. There's not a lot of people who make multi-million dollars in the MLS.
No,
right?
He's
like I'm talking about $7 million. Is that his? How much do we pay?
No, 7 figures, but just one. Yeah, 1 million. But that's per year. So yes, he has had multi-million from Nashville.
He's at 1.3 a year. It's insane how
when you're at that, like that pay grade, we are like in the MLS again. We're talking about MLS. When you're making millions, $1 million, $1 million plus every year, you're one of the people where it's like you're a marquee guy. Like at that point, like we're gonna put your face on posters, my guy. Like you have to be here and you have to score. And it's not that this player has underperformed. It's that he has not had the ability to perform. So with that,
here's what it is, Tunji. It's not that he hasn't had the ability to perform. It's that the times that he is performing, he consistently gets injured to where he's taking away his own time to actually show us what he has.
Do you think that? How often? Like when he's even on? Like, all right, let's just throw. He
was injured twice last year.
Well, throw out the time when he's not on the pitch. Let's just look at the time that he is on the pitch. Based on that time, forget that this guy has glass ankles. Apparently, based on the time when he is on the pitch. Would you sign Randall Leal again? Would you do it all over again? Would you take that? Would you take that?
It's hard to say no to that. It really is. It's hard to say no to that because of
why?
Again, his tenacity on the field. He puts the long ball on. It is not that he loses that shot. It is literally a one touch and it's lost afterwards because people aren't cradling it or people aren't making the right move to the left or the right, he puts the long ball on exactly where it needs to be. He did it several times when he was in last year. I actually defended him and talked about this when we were on our pod early on last year. One of the first few episodes. Please go back and listen to those.
Please.
No, for real. Go back and listen to them because you'll be able to hear us. We've stayed pretty consistent in our talks.
We've talked about these things.
And we know I'm objectively speaking. I try and stay as unbiased as I possibly can when I look at all this stuff. And when I talk about these people, it is not that it is pure business for me when it comes to this. And it's hard to say no, I would not. It's hard to say no, I would not sign him again. But at the same time, you have to take into account all of the injury that happens. You have to.
It's just such an overwhelming part of the Randall Leal equation.
And that's the case.
I'll tell you this.
Of what it is.
I'll tell you this. I wouldn't sign him again. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'll tell you why. He wants to be Hani. He wants to be that guy. He's not one that will pass the ball off when he should. He wants to take.
And I think that should be his.
And I think that he's got an positionally. I think that he isn't that guy. He's a wing. You're not a goal scorer. You can be, but that's not where people are scoring from. Play your position, play your role, and I think it would have been better for Nashville. How many shots did he have that didn't even touch the net?
Okay. That's one of the main things I've noticed about Randall Leal is like I see him like shooting the ball, but like when he shoots it, he puts every ounce of his being into shooting it, and it always goes over. It always goes wide. At least that's how I feel. But let me ask you this, because of who Randall Leal was when Mike Jacobs, when they went out and scouted him and brought him on the team, like, do you think that the problems that we have talked about consistently in our midfield, Austin, do you think that maybe his unavailability, right, his ability to stay healthy has been a part of those problems, maybe the cause of those problems?
It could be because he did bring speed. He brought somebody who played, but he played more on the left side. I mean, he played some on the right side, but he played a lot on that left side where Schaffelberg or Fafa would play. And so then on the right side, we had him trying to switch out with Alex Moyle. So I don't know if that was necessarily the issue in the midfield. I felt like it was more just the style of play that we had and the age that we had, because Randall Leal, I know he was injured a lot, but I don't know if like when he was on the field, if he added enough to make that big of a difference in our season last year.
Okay, so you're saying that like that's kind of a condemning statement as is. Like if you're saying that even if he is on the field, he doesn't make him enough of a difference, and he didn't really do much when he was healthy because the Gary style wasn't really
And maybe if Gary does what he's saying he's going to do and being more tech minded, maybe that changes for Leal. Maybe this season was more of a judge to who he could be, but only time will tell if he gets healthy.
Well, I mean, that kind of changes my perspective, honestly, because I now I'm realizing, I was like, like I was of the opinion that I'm like, okay, even when he was healthy, did he do enough to like for me to be like, all right, this is a very, like, I know his ceiling, but I feel like I'm always in his basement, honestly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not even on his floor. I feel like I'm always in his basement, so I can't even see his ceiling anymore. But you're saying, well, even when he was healthy, we weren't using him well anyways. That's interesting to think about it. I mean, maybe if we had done that, we would have done a lot better in the Leagues Cup if he'd have been healthy as well, which is changing next year, the format. And I think that's something we're going to talk about right after the break.
Hey, Mixtape 615, are you ready for the 2024 season? We want you to join us. Join our supporters group. It is the dopest supporters group in all of Nashville. So sign up right now at mixtape615.com and rock your 2024 membership scarf so you can show off and say, we run this pitch. Imagine standing on the field, feeling the energy of the game close up, all of the energy of the stadium. That's a reality for our members. You can get on-field opportunities, plus get access to our tailgates where you'll bond with fellow fans over great food, soccer passion, and don't miss out on our epic away game watch parties. So sign up now, mixtape615.com, and join for the 2024 season.
I have a ton of stuff coming at you when it comes to Leagues Cup. As you guys know, we had a lot of fun with it in the Nashville area, being that it got us to the finals. But there was a lot of controversy surrounding it last year, not only on the MLS side, but also in the Liga MX side. We do need to kind of talk about this because they've made some of these changes, maybe for the better, maybe for the worst, maybe just having Leagues Cup as it is just for the worst. Who knows? But I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. There are some questions I have to it. If you do not know these new rules yet, when it comes to Leagues Cup, we are going to put a link in our description for you to follow. So you can go into the leaguescup.com, see
it's exactly what these. It's a read.
It is a little bit of a read, and it is a little bit to understand. All of us have kind of talked about it. So I do want to ask you guys pretty straight up. So as we know, last year was kind of crazy and hectic. Do you think some of these changes are going to affect us in a good way, are going to affect us in a bad way? Austin, what do you think?
I like it. So for those of you just briefly, they're basically going to a seeded system or a ranking system. They got 3 tiers, and I like that because what we do in MLS regular season matters for Leagues Cup as well. It doesn't just have, stakes for MLS playoffs. It also has stakes for rankings and where you're seated, and if you're in a tier 1 group, tier 2 group in Leagues Cup, because they're looking at points based on those games. So I think it's interesting. We'll see how it plays out with group stages still being a thing, knockout stages still being a thing. We saw very similar tournament style play. I think the rankings are new, but we see that in things like Champions League over in Europe. We see seeds, we see rankings, we see it in FIFA. You've got the rankings in World Cup. So I think it'll be interesting how they do this tournament. I think they're trying to create it more of an international feel, which is good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of international feel, and Tunji, you and I both watch a lot of international soccer. Austin, I know you do too. But Tunji, following kind of that Liga MX, I know you saw a lot of people were complaining about games not being played in Mexico. Mexican teams not really having any home status. With the new hub system that they're putting out, where the first 4 teams get that home field advantage where it's played on a neutral site or a predetermined site is what they've said. Do you think that helps kind of quell those naysayers or kind of mild down those complaints?
Quell the MLS naysayers?
Well, no, I'm talking about the Liga MX naysayers, the ones that
you're talking about soccer fanatics. You're talking about soccer nuts, bro. You're talking about people who are crazy who go cuckoo for soccer puffs. No, this is not going to quell their fears and whatever. But I think it's a good step forward for the league. I think it's a good step forward for what we're trying to create. This is what a lot of people miss about MLS, right? Like, so real quick, the decision to give Liga MX teams, the best Liga MX teams, the ability to have, hey, you're just going to play in this state. We're not going to make you fly from LA to Boston down to Nashville, then over to Seattle in 2 weeks, right? If you are a good Liga MX team, I keep saying MLS because that's all I care about. If you're a good Liga MX team, then you will have a hub. You will play just in this state, and the travel won't be so good. That is fair. I think it's more fair if you do that, if you find a way to let all of the League MX teams have that type of advantage so that we can really see who is the better league. Now, here's why I think it's a good step forward, right? What we need to create in the Americas, North America, Central America, South America, is not just these. We need to have hubs. We need to have a network where you can send a South American player all the way up to play in Cincinnati, right? And he's not out of his element, and vice versa, because we're not so isolated anymore. And that's why Europe is a better system than we are, because you have all these Western European teams where it's like, dude, well, I don't even need a passport to go over to this place and play soccer. You know, this is why I think that the Leagues Cup is a great tournament. And if it kicks out open, I'm just going to say it on air, baby. If the Leagues Cup makes it to where Open Cup can't be a thing anymore, don't care. I don't care, because of this reason. It helps us be as a region and as a side of the world that is trying to become the new capital of soccer, where the best soccer is being played in the world. We need that. And so making these steps to appease Liga MX is great. I think they could do more. I'm not sure if they've done enough here to make it fairer for Liga MX teams, but I don't care, because I'm MLS all day, baby. You know what I mean?
Austin, as far as the sitting the two leaders out until the round of 32, what are your thoughts on that? The two winning teams, or winningest teams between these two leagues, get a bye. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's a solid
100%? 100%. If you win your league, you deserve a bye. I mean, we see it in every tournament in American, or almost every tournament in American sports, where you get a bye if you are the top seeded team going into playoffs, going into any kind of tournament. And so I think that yes, if you win your league, Columbus winning the MLS Cup. Who was it? Was it Monterey, or who was it that won
Club America
won?
Yeah. Okay. I think they're going to get the major bye.
Chivas Guadalajara is second.
Okay,
third,
that's right.
And Tigres is fourth.
So Club America winning their league respectively, and also didn't they have like 79 points in like their last 30? So like
34 games.
Yeah. So they looked good.
It's 74. Club America had
74 points.
But that should be the reward,
and you should. Yes, exactly.
That's why I like, if you're a good team, you should have to play less games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
you know what I mean? And that makes this tournament a whole much more. It makes it so much more like people are saying this tournament is not. It doesn't matter. It's a fake tournament that has just been made up. Well, now they're introducing these types of perks, right? Where it's just like, not only if you win this tournament, you do well in this tournament, you get money. You also get to play in the FIFA World Cup. Like it propels you further than, it's, I don't know. It's, to me, it's like, these are the steps that make this tournament more legitimate, even in the eyes of like the most like the most like stubborn fan that just doesn't want to acknowledge the Leagues Cup. I don't think it's there yet, though. I don't think these rules they put in place have made it a fairer tournament, or a tournament that is like better for like seeing the best of Mexico and the best of the United States, and I guess Canada, but it's Canada.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot. Now, I mean, payout can be big for this. Do you think, because there is so much surrounding this, and granted, we already know that it doesn't always boil down to this, but I mean, we could talk about how this works and how this looks and everything like this, but when it comes to like Leagues Cup payout, do we feel like it's well deserved? I mean, we're looking at like roughly, I think it's like 300,000.
Are you talking financially?
Financially, yeah. I mean, I don't feel like it's a
financially. I don't know if it's like a huge payout, but the reward, what makes it a great tournament is the reward, because we've been talking about Champions Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup that's coming up. Nashville would not be in this tournament where we are about to play February 22nd if it weren't for Leagues Cup, if it weren't for the run that we made in Leagues Cup.
That's true.
So that right there makes it a legitimate tournament, because it gives teams, if they're not performing great in their respective leagues, it gives them a chance to make a statement, to make, same thing with US Open Cup, Houston Dynamo being in, it's because they won the US Open Cup. And so these tournaments, having these extra rewards at the end of them, I think makes them legitimate tournaments and makes them worth having. It also gives MLS teams, and if we're wanting to expand US soccer, which I think all of us want to expand it gives MLS teams a chance to play more international games, which I love.
Yeah, I mean, these are all fair points. I agree with Tunji where this is a good step forward. I do think that it's not necessarily enough. I personally would also love to go to Mexico to play some of these games at home in Mexico. Now, granted, I know it's a little harder right now for some of that. We all know that, but I think it would be a lot of fun to try and attend a game down there.
Of course, bro. Of course.
Yes and no, because those fans are different, man. Those fans are different.
That's what I love, is it's such a different environment. Like,
yeah, but that's dangerous environment when you go as an opposing fan. That's
you just gotta know how to move, man.
Europe. No, but if you go in Europe, there are fences between the groups in Europe, and a lot of the MLS fans don't understand that, because they're sitting, they're used to NFL, they're used to basketball, they're used to hockey, where literally the fans are all mixed kind of together. I mean, you kind of sit near others, but not really, not all the time. And so I would love to go to an area where you're like, no, you have to be in this area, you have to follow us, otherwise you will not be safe. I think it'd be a lot of fun to have that
team keeping the fans separated.
Yeah, but that'd be a ton of fun to go to that kind of environment. Like, think about how hype and how crazy that can actually get. I think it'd be tons of fun. Now, that is a lot to talk about when it comes to this. I'm excited about the way that this has come about with our preseason, how everyone's played, how our new signings have done. What do you think our starting 11 is going to look like on February 25th, opening day? Or better yet, if Gary gave you the reins, how would you set it up? That's a great question that I want you guys to answer right after this break.
You guys know I'll be too lit on Wednesdays at Southside Kitchen and Pub, but it does not have to be a Wednesday for you to get too lit with me at any of our away watch parties. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Mixtape615 for all watch party information, so you can get in the mix with us, me, Logan, and Ginger Snap. Let's go.
All right, welcome back, guys. We are answering the question, who is your starting 11? We're playing like the movie Santa Claus. Santa fell off the roof. Gary fell off the roof, and you got the coat now. You are the gaffer. We got Tunji the gaffer.
Big gaffer.
We got Beer Main the gaffer. So what we want to answer the question, what kind of setup, what kind of shape would you put on the field, and who would you put in the certain position? So Tunji, let's start off with yours. Who is your ideal starting 11?
Well, as you can see on the screen, this is my ideal starting 11. And what you can see here is that I am going with a 4-3-3. Okay. Now I know that's look, I think we've run it before. It is a formation for people who love to hold on to the ball, right? And to create chances. And that's why I'm going with it. That's not who Nashville is, but that's who I want them to be. Okay.
I think this is the shape that we actually did when we played in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might be.
And we came out with a 0-0 draw.
Yep.
It's a good formation. It gives you natural diamonds all over the pitch. It gives the ball carrier, like whoever's got the ball, wherever they're at, there should always be multiple options to me, like the 4-3-3 fixes like all of our ball movement issues from last year. You have, all right, let's look at our midfield, right? You have Godoy as the controlling midfielder. You have Davis as a defender. You have Hani as the creator. Yes, I've stuck him back in the midfield a little bit, like further.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
But that's where I want him. I want him to be back there and be a creator, someone who creates chances. Whether he's scoring or whether he's doing it for someone else. I've got Surge is the target man, that big forward. You know, he's a big guy. He's an easy target. Making the target man, pass it off forward.
At that point,
you've got the wings, right? The wings got to be quick. They're always looking to make magic happen for Hani and Surge. I mean, maybe they can make magic happen for themselves
too.
Well, I've got them. What I've got them doing is they like, you know, when I say the wings, I'm talking about Lovitz and more, right? Like I feel like they can pop up and support the midfield. Right? When need be, and Davis draws back a little bit. When they do that, Davis comes back and helps at McNaughton and Zimmerman. That's what I'm looking at right here. But at the same time, look, I know this formation has a weakness. It's a big one. I think it just limits the space that Hani can work with, right? It doesn't give him a lot of space where, and that's what we're used to seeing. When he has space, he can make stuff happen. So that's what I think is something that kind of holds this formation back. But I think overall, we would see success with this if Gary just gave me the keys, baby.
Now, with this formation, do you think that supports the style that we want to see, the goal scoring that we want to see? Do you think that gives us that?
I think it does, because when you have you have, like I said, Godoy is going to help control that midfield. Last year we were unstable in the mid. I felt like we were unstable. Right? It just the midfield just didn't exist. So again, you give the Godoy he's the field commander there. But what happens is now you're freeing when you have three people in front of Hani Mukhtar who are all creating, basically being mirages. Right? Like they're like, well, he might score and he might score. It's like, no, Hani's going to be the one to score. We're just not letting you. We're putting three options in front of him before you even see him. So he's going to be that silent assassin. And again, this is a formation that, again, I've built it. I've made it look this way so that it makes Hani the premier goal scorer in this formation. But it's a dangerous formation overall because it gives everyone a chance to score if they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I like it. You know, we'll see if Gary listens and what we do with that.
Gary, my number is boop, 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 boop.
All right. So Tunji the Gaffer had that. Now let's see what Logan, if he got the coat, if he was the one where, you know, Gary fell off his roof, he puts this on. What does Beer Main the Gaffer have to say about his lineup? So let's put that on the screen. So if you guys aren't watching, you know, you can just look us up on YouTube and see all these.
So I've got us in an interesting, more similar to what we've been running, but a 4-1-4-1. Tunji and I kind of have a similar setup, but mine is built around a 3 center midfields, you know, with one kind of dropping back a little bit. You've got, you know, what you would essentially see in that regards. You have a more conservatively minded central defensive mid position that can assist, similar to the way he has Davis set up. Similar to that, he can assist to the defense. Now, I want Boyd and Mukhtar to play close to each other. Schaffelberg and Boyd are on their lines as they sit, because they've had a good connection in the in the preseason so far. Gaines plays on that side with Hani. I think that's going to be a good connection there. And with an overabundance of 4 others that could attack up the front, I think we hold strong and give options more so than just what Hani can create. And when it comes to that, and we saw it last year and the year before, when we have more options up front, Hani gets more goals. So we just have to play that more aggressive style. When it comes to this, you also are going to see where Shaq Moore has tended to kind of move forward and kind of trying to join the attack. Again, totally okay with that. With that, you kind of see me have set up a shuffle where I have, the other three that can kind of shuffle up and sure up that center so that we don't have anything. I can sacrifice wings all day. I just need to make sure that our center is there. And then you do have Godoy, who is a commander on the field. Godoy could easily be subbed out if we needed to, for Drew Yearwood, for Sean Davis. We could put those guys in there. Same thing with
I think Godoy is the commander, though.
I think Godoy is 100%
I don't know if those guys
commander.
have that ability to hold
Davis
down
came
the
in
midfield.
to
Davis
play
came in
that
as
role
a
some.
captain from New York. He was the previous captain before. I think he can gain that, especially now with him being a little bit in the upper tier when it comes of age and experience and veteranship. When it comes to our team being with us for the time that he has, I feel like that puts him there. Zimmerman obviously has control of the back. Zimmerman might not be in, so you could put McNaughton over in his spot and then Jack Mayer bring him in to where McNaughton is currently as well. So those are options there as well. But I really do think that this gives us the best scoring chance. You have Surge, who's set up to be that, that fox in the box, really just be there for the pass in, be there to take advantage of his height like he can. I mean, we saw it last year. He can fly high. We know it. So let's see it move this much further.
Okay. I like it. We'll see again what happens with Gary's formations and his subs and his shape. So we'll see how that comes up. Now I want to talk about mine. I'm going to throw mine up here because I'm going to show y'all what a real gaffer looks like and what this formation looks like.
Everybody to park the bus again.
Look, okay, so let's put mine up. So you see mine up here, and you
looks
see
like a bus
circles instead of the jerseys.
This looks so much like.
So this is a 4-4-1-1. This is a 4-4-1-1, and it's a diamond in the middle as well. What this gives you is you allow your wings, your Schaffelberg and your Mackenzie Gaines, to run up the field, joining the attack. You allow your attacking midfield of Hani Mukhtar to move up. Then you've got your center mids. You've got your Tyler Boyd, who is playing more of an attacking mid in this role. And then you've got your Godoy, who's helping shore up the back line, being that defensive mid, that Dax McCarty role, if you will, from last season, where he's helping out. And then you've got Sam Surridge up at the top, being who he should be. We talked about this, past couple podcasts when we were talking about Super Sam, when I threw on my cape. He has some of the best positioning of our team. And if we shore him up in that attacking role, being a true number 9 like he should be, then that opens up so much more space for Hani to move just outside of the box. It gives him a clear pass, a clear header if Sam Surridge is there. And then it also lets him create and gives Tyler Boyd room to run. And so this is drawing more attention away from the Schaffelberg, away from Mackenzie Gaines, away from the Tyler Boyd, whereas Hani and Sam can do what they do, but it opens up more for other players to join the attack. Then you look at the back line. You've got your McNaughton, you've got your Zimmerman, your Shaq Moore, your Lovitz, but your fullbacks, so your Dan Lovitz and your Shaq Moore, can move forward, can cross the ball in as needed, and then you can have Godoy drop back and Walker and Lucas, spread out, and you've got that, still got a 3-line back if you need it. But what I also did was, because we understand injuries happen. We talk about Randall Leal. We understand who Gary is and who he trusts and who he puts in. So I threw in some subs in here because we know.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. The year Brian Anunga. What is this? What is Brian Anunga subbing in for Tyler Boyd?
You know how fast Brian Anunga is.
Yeah,
he finds himself out of position. So I don't want him in the back. I don't want him playing that defensive midfield like he does sometimes, because he finds himself out of position because he's going full on. And if you put that in the middle near Hani, he's just going to draw attention because of how much he's running. And so
let me tell you this. I would switch. I hear what you're saying. I would switch Brian Anunga with as a sub for the sub for Anibal Godoy.
Yeah.
I would put instead him there Davis, and put Sean instead of Davis, and maybe even instead of pushing Sean Davis up for the sub for Tyler Boyd, I would maybe even put in like Gaines there as a sub for Boyd. Gaines, I think the thing with your formation, Austin, which I think it's a I'll be honest, I think it's a safe formation. I think this is going to be hard for people to score on us, but it really depends on the cohesion between the strikers up on the front. So they have to be on one accord, dude.
The biggest weakness is that they have to be not just on one accord. They don't just have to work together. They have to be on their game every game, or we have almost no chance of scoring.
Well, this gives you options for Schaffelberg and Gaines to come.
Yeah, no, I think you have a chance of scoring.
And for Boyd to create.
This reminds me a lot of what, honestly, Austin, like I think that you have 100% took on the role of Gary in this.
This is a Gary lineup,
and not in a bad way.
He ran a 4-4-2 a lot of times. I swapped it up to a 4-4-1-1 and then just the diamond in the middle.
Stacked the two.
But what if it's played the right way, because we ran 4-4-2 against Kansas City. We ran a 4-4-2 against most of Leagues Cup. We ran a 4-4-2 against New England Revolution.
That's what I'm trying to get away from. We were scoring goals, but were we scoring a lot of goals or
we scored goals? 3 in I will say a lot of those matches.
You do have to play the ball through the middle in a 4-4-1.
The St. Louis, Hani had his hat trick with this formation.
They were playing 4-4-2.
Yeah, with a diamond in the middle. It's an attacking mindset. It's not a Gary mindset. So this formation works if it's what Gary says. Well, if you look at the formations that we've been playing, the little bit we've heard and seen from preseason, we're essentially playing Gary style ball, but a more attacking style of Gary ball. It's
still that heavy backfield, a lot of guys in the back being able to assist the back.
Letting your midfield run rather than relying on your fullbacks to be crossing the ball in, letting your midfield run forward.
Is your formation still what people would consider a counter-attacking style?
It definitely can be.
So it's like sitting back, letting the opponent bring the game to you, right?
Yes, but the difference is you don't have the Alex Moyle. I've got him in as a sub because that's who we have. But if you've got a Schaffelberg and Mackenzie Gaines and a Tyler Boyd, think about the speed of that at the counterattack.
I find it interesting that you put Mackenzie Gaines in your starting lineup because I could not fit. I tried, dude. I looked at so many different formations and I could not find a way to get Mackenzie Gaines in to a starter position over guys like Tyler Boyd, Schaffelberg, even Sean Day. I was like, dude, I was changing his role.
Godoy,
that's why to get him in, I would have had to change his role.
You've got Godoy and Davis in yours, and with both of those in, I've got those two subbing out for each other rather than putting both of those. So it puts more of the attack. And then when you get late in the game, the hope is with this formation is that you've scored goals. If not, then you are parking the bus at late in the game and, playing for the tie. But this gives you options to get ahead early, which is what Nashville, if they get ahead early, we know that we can keep people from scoring.
Yeah, I mean, Tunji, to be fair, I also put Mackenzie Gaines as a starter. But again, I put him on a wing. That's the position he plays.
Yep.
I put him there. The position, honestly, the true position that I changed was Tyler Boyd's. But even Gary talked about how moving him to the center because of the way that he connects is actually a really smart choice. And Tyler thrived in that in the last preseason game.
Exactly. I think from those very little clips that we got on Twitter,
Tyler in the center is where we need him.
Well, it was his ability to move again, not just move the ball. It was his ability to move with the ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he's like,
we saw how nasty he can be when he's dribbling.
He's got his step overs. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like
if you've got him drawing the attention. and then it gives you an option for Hani Mukhtar to go just him versus the back line with Sam Surridge there, because Tyler Boyd is going to draw those midfield.
I think this looks, I mean, to be fair, I think all of ours have interesting sides to them. I mean, I think it's funny how all of us also have a midfielder dropping back because we kind of know how Gary plays. And that's honestly going to happen.
You don't want to change the way, like, you don't want to change the system too. I feel like all of our formations are kind of like, all right,
given what we have played, what we have,
given what we have played, how hard would it be to transition? All right, personally, I think to transition to mine, the 4-3-3, I don't think it would be too hard.
I don't think it would be too hard.
I'm not asking for too much.
I think I don't
think it would be very hard to transition him.
No, Logan's is
already playing.
He's got the cha-cha slide going on in his backfield. I'm like,
all you're doing is a straight shuffle. Bro? That's a normal shuffle.
That's a cha-cha slide if I've ever seen one.
It's a Cupid shuffle.
I think the hardest one to learn. The hardest one to learn, and I say that like very loosely because I don't think any of ours would be hard to transition to. But I think the hardest one to transition to would be a 4-3-3 with, Tunji's, mainly just because we're normally stacking 4 in the middle. I don't want it to turn into like a 4-5-1, Well, that's the only thing I could think might happen.
We're stacking 4 in the middle, but we're not letting them, like, they're doing is serving as like walls for an opponent. Whereas what I'm saying with what I'm trying to do is like, hey, if you have 3 you have 3 central midfielders,
look like a foosball.
I'm saying if you have 3 central midfielders, man, that gives you so many more options, and that solves the problem that we have. Right? We think that our problem is we're so stuck in this idea of putting so many people in the backfield, and not just in the backfield, but also in the midfield to stop people from progressing in the midfield. We forget to move forward. When you have 3 solid central midfielders who are positioned in a way to create diamond formations all over the pitch, triangle formations all over, not just in the front, but all over the pitch, right? Then now we get out of the situation of when a person gets the ball, they don't know what to do with it. Well, you got 2 options. Choose one.
Well, maybe we'll run some simulations on EAFC with all of our.
I'm about to do that right now.
See what happens. We'll see what happens. But
jersey that
we're gonna go ahead and wrap. We've got a preseason match. I guess
as of recording,
as of recording, it's tomorrow. As of this releases, it will probably have already happened.
13 hours.
But we've got that last preseason, and then Tunji's birthday coming up. First match,
22nd. We'll be in DR. We'll be in Dominican
February
Republic.
22nd. We're getting the season.
I'll hopefully be here sipping on some whiskey, watching the game.
On rum. We're gonna be sipping on Dominican rum.
Oh yeah.
I'll have a rum with you. Just
yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap another episode of Mixtape 615. What is this?
Sweet 16. It's the Sweet 16. We can officially drive with our podcast now.
The SE6, baby.
There we go. Well, hey, thank you guys, everybody. All of you who are listening. We couldn't do it without you guys. But seriously, special thanks to Doug Branson, our producer. This guy makes everything happen. We salute him every episode, and appropriately so. This guy does so much for us. So show some love to him in the comments. Doug Branson has done so much for us. But hey, don't forget to stay connected. Watch out for these watch parties that we got coming up. We've got, scarf release party, and then we're gonna get down with some tailgates this season.
We're gonna start the season off right, baby.
Connect on our Instagram, our Facebook, X, all of that stuff. You can find us at Mixtape 615, and for all of our video content, don't forget to look us up on YouTube at Mixtape 615 Pod. And so we are closing this out. Keep it real, keep it vibing, because we run this pitch. Mixtape 615 is signing off.
Yee.